Hey, you beautiful beings. Welcome to Empowered Human with Nina Garcia. I am your host, and you are listening to the Throwback episodes. Yeah, I have officially taken a pause on creating new episodes for the podcast so that I can focus on writing the book. It became very clear that while I have loved doing the podcast, I'm getting these episodes out every week to you all piecemeal. I was like, no more, no more. You all were like, please, can you get us all those skills and tools, Nina, in one area so that we can do the empowered human journey, so that we can really see what it's like from start to finish, to which I say, yes, absolutely. Let me get this to you. Yes. So what you're going to be hearing is this. You're going to be hearing throwback episodes from all 6 seasons, okay? It's not going to be every episode, so don't freak out on me yet. But it is going to be some of the episodes that were highlighted, that were popular, that we think, maybe you all missed and we want to bring it back. You're going to be hearing throwback episodes, and I am going to be listening along with you. I too want to hear about the journey and experience the journey that I had as we moved from Triggered Can We Play With That, the original podcast, all the way to Empowered Human with Nina Garcia. So you're going to hear personal stories. You're going to hear interviews. You're going to be given skills in every episode. Yes, you're going to be given tools in every episode for you to become skilled in. It is totally up to you whether you want to listen. If it's not the episode for you, skip to the next week, right? You just take what works for you, leave what doesn't. And if there's some stuff you're curious about, why don't you just go ahead and put that on the shelf? The podcast has always been about putting resources in the hands of people without needing to pay for it, right? And so this is no different. Even with these throwback episodes, what you're going to hear is this. We're going through, just as I said, you're going to still hear me talk at the beginning of each episode, letting you know, hey, we've had a transition. You're going to hear the original intro to the episode. You're going to hear the show music, and then you're going to hear the full original episode. This could mean that dates are off, that times are off, that people are talked about, that it may no longer be in our lives, right? Just be aware of that. At the very end of the episode, you're going to see this face again come back to remind you that it was a throwback episode and to maybe offer you some adventure challenges as you move from week to week, right? Though the format of the episode did change over the years that we've done this podcast, the value is still there. So if you like something, definitely hit me up on Instagram at Drama Therapist Nina and be like, Nina, I love that throwback episode about XYZ thing. Yes, fill in the blank with that. Let me know. And if there's something that you're looking for in the meantime, also hit me up on Instagram at Drama Therapist Nina and let me know. Otherwise, stay curious and enjoy the ride, folks. I'll be right along there with you. Welcome to Empowered Human, the dramatically playful podcast that invites you to heal humanity, the one within you, me, and the world at large. I'm your host, drama therapist, empowerment specialist, and not to mention empowered human, Nina Garcia, and I'm so stoked you're joining me on the journey. Every Wednesday, you are invited to explore transforming from powered to empowered with genuinely human stories of courageous existence, healing from invalidation, and truly belonging to you. So wherever you are on the spectrum, from empowerment curious to empowered human ambassador, this podcast is designed to humanize. Get ready to lean into your edge, heal your worldview, and finally belong to you. This is Empowered Human. Hey you, Nina here. So you know those inopportune moments when you really want to put your best foot forward? You've got somebody there who you want to impress and you just want to be yourself, but for some reason, the most insecure part of you gets triggered and then it starts speaking for you. I had one of those moments this week. And believe it or not, it was on a date when my insecure part decided to rear its very loud, insecure voice. So if you listen to this episode, you and I are both consenting to have a very playful experience that will help us diversify our ability to play with insecurity. Not everything, folks, but at least one facet to help you, me, and everyone who comes across this potentially transform a hard conversation into a teachable moment. So have a journal on hand or a good friend to dialogue with what comes up for you in this episode. For now, you know I'm curious. You ready to play? Let's take a breath. So here's some context, because you know I'm going to start with the story right from the top in this episode. But here's some context. It is public knowledge that I've been going through divorce proceedings for a minute now, right? These things take time, apparently, if you didn't already know that. But during this process, I spoke with my ex about me dating again. I said, listen, I got to get back out there. I got to start practicing. And so I've also been dating for a minute while I'm divorcing. And that's where today's story begins. Here we go. So picture it. It was a Monday evening. And I had been talking to this guy. We're going to call him Jack. And for the sake of this story, we cannot possibly encompass the full being that is Jack. So this is why we're just going to say Jack, made up name, because we were really only captured one night with this guy. And so it had been like weeks of talking, and we were finally meeting up for our date, and we went out for a hike, and we went out to dinner afterward, and it was fun. We had a good time. And when I tell you that Jack, on paper, was ideal, really fit the bill. I mean, we're talking great on paper. Had a great job, loved being outdoors, also a divorcee, also had children, and just seemed so sweet, was very attractive. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to hit it off. We're going to hit it off. It's going to be great. But I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. So already I was feeling nervous, which was, I'm going to be honest with y'all, new for me. I don't know if you know this, but I regularly practice not being nervous. I regularly practice courage in the face of fear. And so actually feeling nervous before a date was new for me. Going into this already, this leaves me vulnerable to something being off. And this is really important. As you all know, I teach you, recognize your moments of vulnerability because something could go wrong down the line. So already I was nervous. And then on the date, I happened to be saying these things. And I kept wondering afterward, why do I keep saying that? I must have said, I kid you not, 5 to 7 times at least, something along the lines of, just so you know, Jack, I'm a lot of energy. Okay. And I'm not for everyone. I'm really not for everyone. Can we just pause a minute? Why would anybody continue to say that over and over again? And on the date, I was thinking, what is that? Like, why do I keep saying that? Well, that, folks, psychoeducation moment, is your emotion hijacking you. That was my nervous, fearful part hijacking me and expressing something that I did not want to say, but was feeling, okay? I did not believe this also, just so we're clear. I know that I have a lot to offer, and I think that that's exceptional. Feeling-wise, however, I was clearly feeling a little bit insecure, and that was what was showing up on this date. And so, mind you, I'm aware of this. I'm trying to reel it in, but it's not working, folks, because it gets worse. Not only do I say this embarrassingly, somewhere between 5 to 7 times, but at the very end of the date, I say something akin to, you're just so sweet. And I just feel like, what are the chances that I'm more like a lion and you're more like a lamb and I'm just going to wreck you? I'm not even kidding. Let me just repeat that as my head falls into my hand. I said something along the lines of, I felt like I was going to wreck him. What the literal hell? I mean, I want us to laugh about it now, but let's be clear. This was a really embarrassing date for me. I did not believe that. I could not believe that that's what came out of my mouth. And again, I thought, oh my gosh, what the heck is happening here? Nina, you are known for being confident and composed and really well-spoken. WTH is happening? Get your ish together. So, needless to say, the date ends, and overall, I think it went well. And also overall, I think that I came off, and I won't speak for Jack, but for myself, I came off as insecure. And I was very, very curious about this. So, if we can laugh about it now and lean into this, because you know that I want you to be able to lean into these moments too. It's really important, y'all. Here's what is happening. On the outside, everything I just told you is what literally happened, embarrassingly so, but also truthfully so. But here's a little bit more psychoeducation on what's happening. Emotions, the things that we feel on the inside, and of course, you may know that there are 5 main emotions: fear, anger, joy, disgust, and sadness, okay? Emotions can be enmeshed with one another. That means that even if I'm feeling, say, excited and nervous in the present moment, previous times that I have felt excited or nervous that may be associated with things like hiking or where we went to dinner or even his energy and personality type can recall previous times that I have felt that way. Even though it's unrelated, it can enmesh with a time that I have felt nervous and anxious and insecure, even if it wasn't in the present. Something from the past can be pulled forward. That, my friends, is how you know something has been triggered, when something bigger or older than that moment is what shows up. And I ain't playing with you. That is 100% what happened on this date. Something about the way that we engaged with one another triggered this insecure part of me that I can absolutely place back to being, I kid you not, 19 or 20 years old. I remember the time that I said to someone, I just feel like I'm going to wreck you. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Now, let's dive in a little more. This was a good guy, okay? Jack, yes, good on paper, but also so comfortable to be around. So I felt so safe in his presence. We laughed. It was a good time. What was happening internally was my fear jumped up, expressing itself as insecurity, bringing back 19 or 20-year-old insecure me. And we need to ask ourselves, I want you to be able to ask yourself, why did this just happen? Because I promise you, it is likely not just because of your present moment. It's something that is hijacking you from the past. This is what triggers are and what they do. So let's lean in. Why would this happen? You already know emotions will hijack you. So remember the context of where Nina is in this story. I'm going through a divorce, have been going through a divorce, and it actually isn't the divorcing part that was the issue here. It's the relationship that I had had previously. I had spent much of the past 3 years in a world where I was consistently neglected by my chosen partner. Now, because neglect is what became normal in my reality, here I have someone on this wonderful date with this wonderful guy who's reaching out to connect with me, who I want to connect with. He's not neglecting me, and immediately that is different for my body. Now, what do you know about when things happen that are different for you? Sometimes that can be scary, can be so scary, and some insecure, fearful part of you can literally pop up and say something like, I feel like I'm going to wreck you. But actually, and this part is really, really important, when you're hijacked and you say something that seemingly feels oppressive to someone else, like this, right? That has nothing to do with them. I'm going to say 9 times out of 10 because I don't know the context of your story. But I'm going to say confidently 9 times out of 10, that has nothing to do with that person. Because internally, I was not actually feeling and thinking and believing that I was going to hurt him in any way, shape, or form. I processed this right after that, and I thought, what was that? Internally, what I was experiencing was, Nina, you're not good enough for him. You're damaged. He's doing well. Leave him that way. Well, what I have to say to this now, fearful, insecure part, is F that, okay? Y'all take another breath in. Because we about to play with this and we're about to get really real. I want you to join with me because here's the part of the episode where I invite both you and I to disrupt the unhelpful narrative that just popped up and flip the script because I am not damaged and I do not wreck people. That is not my truth. It is not objectively or subjectively my truth. But some part of me that was hijacked believed it was in that moment. And it is likely that some parts of you have done the same. They have hijacked you with a belief that is simply not true. It's not your truth and you know it. But oh man, it got the best of you. So if you've got a pen and paper close by, I want you to join with me. And we're about to write a letter to the part of us that is afraid, that is insecure, that holds us back when we deserve to move forward. So now, I've done this. Here is mine in this moment. Dear fearful part of me, you deserve to be seen and felt and heard because you protect me above all costs, and for that, you are so loved. Though you have spent the last few years feeling often unseen, unheard, and unloved in your closest relationship, that is not your weight to carry anymore. I chose to leave that space. I give you permission to release that burden so we can move forward. You deserve to not be afraid. And I deserve to be with someone who sees me and feels me and hears me. We deserve to be loved, so let that damage go. We don't need the wreckage anymore. Sincerely, your ride or die, Nina. As you take the time to write your own letter, know that this is about your relationship with you. Let me repeat that because this is not about the Jacks of the world. As wonderful and fantabulous as the Jacks of the world may be, this is not about them. This is about you and your relationship with you. We're nearing the end of the episode, and I'm wondering, what is your takeaway? Every human being feels insecurity. All of us at one point or another. How that insecurity expresses itself and when that insecurity expresses itself may surprise you, as it can look very different from person to person, and it can even change from moment to moment. I can tell you, sidebar now, I have never been insecure like this on a date. This was a very new experience for me. So I want to invite you to ask yourself, step 1, do I notice when I am speaking from a place of insecurity, fear, and lack versus a place of security, love, and abundance? And if I can notice, step 2, when I'm speaking from a place of insecurity, fear, and lack, can I disrupt it and flip the script towards security, love, and abundance? This is the notice and disrupt skill. I've spoken about it in previous episodes, but I hope that you can apply it in the context that I've offered here. You have heard me just now go through the notice and disrupt skill. But I'm even thinking, can you take it a step further than just noticing and disrupting? Could I, in this instance, share with that other person? Honestly, I'm not sure I would even get the chance.
this was one date that we'd had, right? But I want to offer you a caveat if you're one of the people wondering, well, what do I do, Nina? Then in my own relationships, do I get a chance to redeem myself? Do I deserve a chance to be redeemed for showing such insecurity like this? Take you a breath in. And here is the answer that I have to offer. If you and that other person can recognize the rupture and move toward repair, then I don't see any reason that you wouldn't go for it. But the reality is, especially if you're in the dating scene, you may not get the opportunity to repair with the other person. And this is why it is so critical to recognize the rupture within yourself and move toward repair with yourself. You all know, and if you are new, then let it be heard now, what I believe, what I teach, and how I offer, right, this skill in therapy is that the most important relationship to prioritize is the one between you and yourself, so that all other relationships may follow in an aligned fashion because you know that you're at the core, and that will ripple out toward others.
It's me again, reminding you that this was a throwback episode. I hope that you were able to take something from it, even one little nugget of wisdom, and use that between this week and next week, right? The purpose of these episodes is to give you tools. It is up to you to decide whether you want to become skilled in them. You picking up what I'm putting down? So take a tool, take something, a perspective, a moment, something that works for you, and use it in your life to transform hard conversations into teachable moments, to transform the way that you play with scary moments, right? To transform your life, to help make you the most courageous, most healing-oriented, most belonging person, right? No matter where you go, that you belong to yourself everywhere you go, right? Courage, healing, belonging, whatever it is that you are taking from this episode, take it with you so that you can get out there and live your most vibrant life, you beautiful human being, okay? All right, I'm signing off for now, but I'm gonna see you soon, okay? I'm gonna see you real soon. Bye for now. Thank you so much for being willing to explore healing your humanity on Empowered Human. I hope you found at least one new way to transform your worldview from powered to empowered. If you took something from the show, please take a moment of your time and subscribe to Empowered Human. And if it really nourished you, leave us a review. Your feedback helps me understand what our community needs. Not to mention, it helps others discover the empowered human life. So keep this last bit in mind. All the visual goodies come with me on Instagram at Drama Therapist Nina. Stay up to date there on upcoming episodes, behind the scenes goodness, and reels dropping knowledge. Thank you again for being part of the empowered human community. Until next time, stay curious.